What happens when a generation's pain finds its voice in a 21-year-old who freestyle raps about his demons for over an hour straight? Juice WRLD didn't just make music, he performed public therapy sessions that millions tuned into, watching a talented young artist wrestle with darkness in real time. Today, we're diving deep into the psychological patterns, the unfiltered vulnerability, and the haunting prescience that made Juice WRLD one of the most psychologically complex artists of our generation. Juice WRLD was famous for freestyling for absurd lengths of time, 30 minutes, an hour, sometimes longer, completely off the dome. But these weren't just impressive displays of technical skill. They were unfiltered streams of consciousness that revealed a mind in constant turmoil. Psychologists have a term for this: rumination. It's when your brain gets stuck in loops, obsessively cycling through the same themes, the same fears, the same pain. Listen to Juice's freestyles, and you'll notice the same themes appearing over and over. Heartbreak, drug use, death, paranoia, his own mortality. Freestyling became a coping mechanism, a way to externalize the chaos happening internally. But like many coping mechanisms, it was a double-edged sword. It gave him an outlet, but it also reinforced these destructive thought patterns, embedding them deeper into his psyche with every bar. Here's something uncomfortable. Juice WRLD monetized his suffering. His entire brand was built on radical vulnerability. Songs about heartbreak, anxiety, depression, addiction. The rawer, the better. Fans didn't just want his music, they wanted his pain. This created a perverse incentive structure. Every time Juice was struggling, that became potential material. His suffering had commercial value. Psychologists call this reinforcement. When a behavior is rewarded, it becomes harder to change. There's a concept called identity foreclosure, when someone commits to an identity without exploring other options. Juice became the sad rapper, the heartbreak kid. But what happens when you build your entire identity around suffering? What happens when getting better means losing what makes you special? Percocet, Xanax, codeine, lean. These weren't occasional references. They were constant companions, appearing in song after song. And the way he talked about drugs evolved over time. Early on, there was romanticization, drugs as rebellion, as escape. But tracking through his discography chronologically, you hear the shift. The bravado cracks. The consequences show through. He begins rapping about trying to quit, about knowing he's destroying himself. This reflects a well-documented pattern in addiction, the spiral of awareness. First, you're unaware. Then you're aware but minimize it. Then you acknowledge it but feel powerless. Then you want to change but don't know how. Juice's lyrics map this journey with brutal honesty. But even as he rapped about wanting to quit, he was simultaneously glorifying the lifestyle that kept him trapped. Cognitive dissonance on a massive scale. I know this is killing me, and this is who I am, existing in the same verse. Juice WRLD talked about dying young constantly. He had a song called Legends, where he rapped about never making it past 21. He was 21 when he died. Was this premonition, or a self-fulfilling prophecy? When someone repeatedly predicts their own early death while engaging in increasingly risky behavior, something complex is happening psychologically. This is the power of narrative. We become the stories we tell ourselves. Juice told himself, and the world, a story about a talented young artist who burns bright and dies young. Tragically, that's the story that played out. Juice blew up when he was barely 20. Suddenly, millions were analyzing his every word, relating to his pain, expecting him to continually excavate his trauma for their consumption. Fans developed parasocial relationships with him, deep, one-sided connections. For many struggling with mental health, he wasn't just an artist. He was a friend, a therapist, a mirror reflecting their pain. But this created an expectation that Juice had to remain broken to remain relatable. Imagine trying to heal while knowing your brokenness is what makes you valuable. Imagine trying to grow beyond trauma while millions want you to stay exactly as damaged as when they discovered you. That's a psychological prison. Anxiety creates a vicious cycle. You worry about something, which creates physical symptoms, which you worry about, which intensifies the symptoms. It's a feedback loop from hell. For Juice, he worried about relationships, which led to controlling behaviors, which damaged relationships, which confirmed his fears. He worried about fame being temporary, which drove him to overwork, which burned him out, which intensified his fear of irrelevance. Most insidiously, he worried about dying young, which contributed to reckless behavior, which increased his actual risk, which intensified his anxiety about death. The prophecy feeding the behavior, feeding the prophecy. Juice WRLD was surrounded by people, managers, producers, friends, fans. Yet, he seemed profoundly isolated. This is common among celebrities famous for vulnerability. The more people who know you, the fewer who actually know you. For someone with trust issues and paranoia, fame amplifies these problems. Who's genuine? Who's using you? These questions become impossible to answer when everyone has a financial stake in your success. This creates withdrawal, retreating into yourself, into substances, into music. But this deepens the isolation, which intensifies the pain, which gets channeled into more music, which brings more fame, which increases isolation. Another vicious cycle. At 21, Juice's brain wasn't even fully developed. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for impulse control, decision-making, understanding consequences, doesn't mature until your mid-20s. He was navigating immense fame, pressure, addiction, and mental health struggles with a brain still under construction. Normal 21-year-old problems became life-and-death struggles played out before millions. He never got the chance to grow beyond this phase, to develop coping mechanisms and perspective that come with age. He's frozen forever as a brilliant but troubled young artist. There's a romantic notion about the tortured artist, that great art comes from great suffering. But this belief can trap artists in their suffering. If your pain is the source of your genius, then healing becomes a threat to creativity. Getting better means potentially losing your gift. For Juice, this wasn't abstract. His entire career was built on translating pain into platinum records. What would happen if those struggles went away? This creates a psychological double bind. The very thing that makes you special is destroying you. The cure for your pain might be the death of your art. Despite all this darkness, Juice's legacy has a silver lining. His radical honesty about mental health and addiction helped destigmatize these issues for millions. Before Juice and artists like him, vulnerability in hip-hop was rare. He made it okay to admit you're struggling, to acknowledge your demons. The dark psychology here is that he paid for this transparency with his life. He showed the world what unchecked mental illness and addiction look like in real time. He was a cautionary tale playing out before our eyes. But his openness has saved lives. Young people who related to his struggles sought help because of his music. They felt less alone because someone they admired was going through the same things. In his final months, the signs were everywhere. Lyrics became darker, more explicitly about death. Drug use became less hidden. The sense of invincibility gave way to inevitability. This represents what's called a death acceptance phase. When someone has struggled for so long, there can come a point where part of them gives up. The exhaustion becomes too much. The survival instinct weakens. This wasn't just about drugs. This was about a young man carrying tremendous weight for years, processing the emotional pain of millions while dealing with his own demons, living at an intensity most couldn't sustain. We'll never know what would have happened if Juice had lived. Would he have broken the cycles that trapped him? Would he have found peace? These questions haunt his legacy because they're visible in his music. He knew he needed help. He rapped about it. But knowing you need help and getting it are different things, especially when you're trapped in psychological cycles. He had everything: talent, success, resources, people who cared. But none of that matters if you can't break through the psychological barriers keeping you trapped. Depression lies, addiction lies, anxiety lies. And when your pain has become your product, those lies become even more convincing. Vulnerability without support is dangerous. Awareness without action is insufficient. Talent doesn't protect you from mental illness. Fame doesn't cure pain. We need to stop romanticizing the tortured artist narrative. We need spaces where artists can heal without fear of losing their creative spark. We need to support young people struggling instead of just consuming their pain as entertainment. Juice WRLD's story is a tragedy, but it doesn't have to be meaningless. Every young person who seeks therapy because of his music, every artist who prioritizes mental health, every fan who checks on their friends, that's meaning we can create from this loss. His legacy shouldn't just be the music he left behind. It should be a wake-up call about how we treat mental health and vulnerability. It should make us question systems that value productivity over well-being, content over care, art over the artist. The dark psychology of Juice WRLD is a mirror reflecting our collective failures. He died in a culture that glorified his suffering while doing little to address its causes. A culture that wanted songs about pain, but not conversations about healing. We can do better. Because somewhere right now, there's another talented young person drowning in their own mind, wondering if their pain is the price of their gifts. Let's make sure they know that's a lie. Let's make sure the next Juice WRLD gets to become the artist they were meant to be. Not the tortured version, but the healed one. The one who lived. Juice WRLD was incredibly talented, deeply troubled, and gone too soon. His story isn't just about one artist's struggles. It's about what happens when we fail to support the people we claim to admire. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health or addiction, please reach out for help. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24/7 at 988. SAMSA's National Helpline for Substance Abuse is 1-800-662-4357. You matter more than any song, any legacy, any artistic output. Juice's music will live on, and so will the conversations he started about mental health and vulnerability. But it would have been more beautiful if he'd gotten to live on too. To grow, to heal, to become whoever he might have been beyond the pain. Rest in peace, Juice WRLD. You deserved better, and the world deserved more time with you. If this deep dive resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts. What was Juice's most psychologically revealing song to you? What did his music mean in your life? Let's keep this important conversation going. Thanks for watching, and remember, your mental health matters more than anything else.